Most people get this MCAT biochemistry question wrong. Can you get it right? Pyruvate carboxylase is allosterically activated by increased levels of what? So if you don't know what pyruvate carboxylase is, you're absolutely cooked on this question, but let's talk about it anyways. So pyruvate carboxylase is involved in gluconeogenesis, and it specifically catalyzes the conversion of pyruvate to oxalo acetate, and then this becomes phosphoenol pyruvate through another enzyme and ultimately becomes glucose. So the purpose of gluconeogenesis is to create glucose and kind of conserve ATP, because glycolysis is going from glucose to ATP, but we don't want to make any more ATP, so we're going back to glucose. So that must mean that to activate anything in gluconeogenesis, we need something that signals that there's high levels of ATP or high levels of energy. Let's look at answer choice B, AMP, adenosine monophosphate. That's kind of like the opposite of ATP. If there's high levels of AMP, then there's low levels of ATP or low levels of energy. So this would actually inhibit gluconeogenesis, because if we have low levels of energy, we don't want to be conserving energy. So this is not going to be the answer. Now, answer choice D, this is another one where if you don't know it, you're cooked. But fructose 2,6-bisphosphate, this one happens to activate glycolysis. It activates a different enzyme, but if it activates glycolysis, it's going to be inhibiting gluconeogenesis. Now, let's look at C. As mentioned before, ATP. If we have high levels of ATP, we're going to be activating gluconeogenesis because we do not need any more ATP. However, this is also not the answer, because ATP allosterically activates a different enzyme called fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase. This question is asking pyruvate carboxylase in particular. That's why this will not be the answer. Process of elimination gives us A, acetyl-CoA, but let's talk about why this is our answer. So acetyl-CoA is a precursor to the citric acid cycle. And essentially pyruvate becomes acetyl-CoA through a different enzyme. And this will go through the TCA cycle. And then the stuff from there will go through electron transport chain. So if we have high levels of acetyl-CoA, that means there's going to be multiple cycles of citric acid cycle and etc. And we're going to get a lot of ATP. So if we have a lot of ATP, we do not want glycolysis. We want to activate gluconeogenesis. And it just so happens that this specifically activates allosterically pyruvate carboxylase.